Raleigh, GalaxyCon 2022, how are you? Are you ready to go back to the 26th century with two amazing actors? Then please welcome our first guest. She is an actress and award-winning audiobook narrator whose credits include the Mario franchise, Left 4 Dead, and Ruby. Today, she joins us as the voice of the artificial intelligence assistant turned interplanetary despot AICTN 0452-9, better known as Cortana. Please welcome Jen Taylor.
Interplanetary despot. I like that.
Yeah, there you go. And next, welcome to the stage. He is an actor and veteran broadcaster whose credits include Septerra Core, Super Bomberman R, and Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the animated series. Today, he joins us to discuss the role he has performed since 2001. Master Chief Petty Officer John-117. Please welcome Steve Downs.
Can I just take you with me everywhere we go and get that kind of introduction all the time? Even when I'm home?
Yeah.
I'll record it for you.
Yeah, would you? My wife would appreciate it, or not.
Oh, guys, welcome to Raleigh. To start us off with, I've asked you this question before to open up with. For those who may not know, I would love to know how each of you came to these classic roles.
Shall I begin? It was really, it's one of those, an old actor friend of mine always admonishes us to never get out of line. And the point of that is you never know when your opportunity is going to present itself. And certainly that was the case with the role of Master Chief. I was on the radio. That was my main career. I was a morning show host for a long time. And in Chicago, and Bungie was based in Chicago at that time. And the guy who cast all the voices, in addition to
What's his name? Call him out.
Marty O'Donnell, and our good friend, and Marty used to listen to me on the radio, and called me up to voice a character in the game called Septerra Core that Patty mentioned. And about a year later, Halo was coming out, and he called back again and asked me if I would like to do it. I'm pretty sure my response, maybe not directly to Marty, but probably to my agent, was, "What does it pay?" And but it turned out to be a game changer, a life changer, and the thrill of a lifetime. So it's really how it all began. It was quite by accident. It's probably the only voiceover role I've ever had that I never auditioned for. And he just thought I had the right sound, and we talked about it, and I loved the story, and off we went. And that was the beginning of a 22-year odyssey.
I think we've enjoyed the ride, have we?
My story is shorter than that. I auditioned.
Like normal people.
Yeah.
Well, how'd that go? Was it a call-in? Was it did you go in and read, or was it did you send in tape?
Back in the day, this was, I auditioned in 2001, interestingly enough, I'm pretty sure. And I went into the studio, and they had given me I think they had given me a script beforehand. They had sent me a script beforehand and given me some idea of what they were looking for. So I had prepared a little bit. And at first, they thought they wanted Cortana, you may have heard this before, but they wanted Cortana to sound vaguely European.
You know, like you do. Right.
And then they were maybe British, and then they said, actually, let's do another audition where it just sounds sort of like you, but a little deeper. And so I was like, okay, so that's where we went.
Indeed. And it's interesting, too, because back then, that was really just when video games were really starting to embrace scripts and an ongoing narrative, because the technology was able to support it. And this must have been kind of a little daunting in the early days. But now I imagine you must look back at that with almost, oh, that was so quaintly quick.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, like for the first game, I don't know if we're getting off topic here, but for the first game, it was fully in a booth. And I think I did 6 to 8 4-hour sessions. And now, for Infinite, I don't know how many 8-hour days in a full mocap suit I did. I mean, probably 30 or 40. Like, I did a lot. And then I was also in a booth as well, doing follow-up stuff, you know. So it takes a lot long. It's much more involved.
I just knew that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story, and I certainly enjoyed the character. So it was kind of like going on an amusement park ride. It was like, wow, this is fun. And I was too stupid to be scared, I guess. And you know, I've chosen that as a path in life, really. You know, too stupid to be scared. For you kids out there, just. You know.
Since you've had these characters such a long time, has anyone just on the street just said, "Wait, your voice sounds familiar"? Just have you ever been almost caught with your characters?
I have not, or very rarely. I mean, it does happen, but you know, it's not like I go up to the McDonald's booth and go, "I'd like a cheeseburger, fries, and a small Diet Coke, stat." You know.
Chief would drink a small Diet Coke?
That's right.
I don't know.
Iced tea, sweetened, please.
That's not really happened. I guess that's not really happened to me. No, not hearing my voice. I've had people approach me and say, are you Jen Taylor? But it doesn't happen very often because we're not on camera. So, you know, people don't know.
Some of the voice
really
actors would be like, "Yeah, wait, you're the guy at the game."
You're that game guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
the game guy, right. So, what's been your favorite memory you've taken from being a part of Halo?
That's I mean, conventions, I hope that you guys love them as much as we do, because for us it is a remarkable way to connect with fans that we don't get, because we don't normally get this kind of feedback. You know, if I'm in a booth or even if I'm doing motion capture, we don't get any kind of feedback from the fans, and so it's really lovely to get to be in touch with everybody. But outside of that, one of the greatest things that this has given to me is a friendship with a remarkable person who will hopefully be my friend for life, is this guy. Yeah, so that's really been a lovely thing. Thanks.
Yeah, what she said. But it's very true. And I would add to that. Well, the funny thing is, you know, Jen and I never met until the 10th anniversary of Combat Evolved. We had never had any conversation, email exchange, nothing. She lived in Seattle, I lived in Chicago. We recorded our parts separately. That was that. And when Microsoft had a big 10th anniversary party for Combat Evolved, I think it was in conjunction with the convention.
I think it was at Emerald City Comic Con.
Emerald City.
Yeah.
That was the first time Jen and I met, and it was so funny because Jen practically jumped into my arms.
I gave him a bear hug.
And it was something to the effect of, finally, someone who gets it, you know, because we had both been on this 10-year journey separately, and we were the only two people who really could you know, understand, you know, sort of the psychology of what this adventure was all about. And but also, like Jen said, is this opportunity to have personal contact with people to whom the game means so much. It has certainly influenced my performance through the years. Your feedback has a direct impact on the way I approach Master Chief when it comes time to record him. So, thanks. I'm not splitting the residuals with you, but thanks.
Wait, residuals? We
Wait,
actually learned something during this convention that I'm going to tell the writers about.
Yes.
So you do have input. We do take what your experiences, and we take them back. And I don't know how much that's going to affect things, but I'm definitely going to say, hey, by the way. So
Yeah.
it is important to us.
But I also want to add to people who rarely get any sort of public notice, and that are, for my money, is the writers and the creators of this story. because it is truly, in my opinion, one of the main reasons why Halo has had the success that it's had is this amazing universe that was created by the people who created the game from the very early Bungie days, and then where 343 has taken it, have given us this rich source material that even after 20 some years, I don't know that we've even scratched the surface on it.
No, I feel like I'm always discovering something new about it, which is exciting.
Indeed.
There you go. All right, let's start our questions. What was your name, young man?
My name is Isaac, and I just want to thank you first for having such amazing voice acting skills and being here today. It's great hearing it.
Thank you, Isaac.
And I would like to say that it's really difficult to get Halo dialogue right, and it's super important. And you guys make that look easy. But has there ever been a time where you've read something and you're like, this may not be the best choice, because it's very hard to get those things right?
Have you heard any outtakes? Because they're out there. Yeah, there's always, voice actors talk, for Halo, yes, but also just generally. They're always, in every single game, there comes a line where you're like, I'll use this one, bet you can't stick it, bet you can't stick it, bet you can't, bet you can't. This, I don't know how to say this. I'm giving up, I don't know how to say this anymore. This sounds like, or even the line, what? What? And it sounds like it's not a word anymore. So there is always, and you never, I don't know that I ever feel like, nailed that. I don't think I ever feel that way. I'm always trying to get better. Yeah.
Hey, try saying Cortana about 18,000 times with a different meaning every time. Yeah. Cortana. I never tried that one.
No, that's lending some new meaning here.
After Halo 5 came out, they took kind of a hiatus, went back to the drawing board, kind of shifted gears story-wise. How did you feel about that? Were you disappointed you didn't see the arc play out like they were building up to, or were you kind of optimistic about a soft reboot? What was your emotions, your thoughts when they were transitioning from Halo 5 to Infinite?
Well, first of all, it was longer than usual. For a variety of reasons, but I think the longer it went on, the more, I guess, in my own mind, the more apprehensive I got. It was like, what's the problem? And I think the story went through a lot of changes, but when we finally hit the ground, and I met the people that I was going to be working with while recording, I was elated. First of all, Jen worked with a lot of different people, but I worked with a guy by the name of Paul Crocker, who was critical in the story development and directing, me in any case, and he's somebody who sort of understood Master Chief the way I understood him. So he got the whole superhero thing in a way that's not superficial. And so he was a great help to me, and it was very exciting to me. And then we had, all kinds of challenges that made the project even more interesting, not the least of which was being shut down in the middle of production because of the pandemic. And that added easily 6 months to the whole procedure, and so that presented a whole unique. And then getting back into that into that place. So I think I had, to sum up, I think I had some apprehension because of the time lag. But then once we hit the ground with it, it was like, oh yeah, this is gonna. And then when we sat down and he walked me through the story, it was like, oh, this is gonna be great. And I thought it was. I thought it came out pretty good.
So my question is that I don't think it's any argument that Master Chief and Cortana have grown so much as characters. And I wonder, where did that growth really start hitting both of you as you were playing them? I
have to, for me, I have to say Halo 4 really was when I became aware of that. And because, you know, it was a different company and a different style. There was the head writer on that was a screenwriter, so it has a different feeling to it, it feels like to me. Chris Schlurf wrote that, was one of the main writers. And that was a much more emotional ride for my character. Not that, I mean, in 3, you know, I had some too, but I felt things shift and really in a big way and deepen in that moment, in that game. That's how it felt to me.
Totally agree. I mean, it felt like, you know, this is where the story should go. And so, I mean, I just saw, again, talking about the layers of the story of Halo in general and of the relationship between Master Chief and Cortana in particular, I felt like, yes, this is where we need to go. And it presented challenges, but it was also ultimately, and it's the first time that Jen and I actually got to work together in the same room at the same time. Which was the thrill of a lifetime for me, and it was just a joy to work with this woman in that capacity, and we really got to explore some, you know, a little more depth to what their relationship is all about.
Yeah, people often ask us what our favorite one to record was, and I can tell you now it was 4 for both of us because we got to work together.
Yeah.
So that was really great.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Nicholas, and I'm from North Carolina.
Hi, Nicholas.
How do y'all feel about the Bungie art style versus like a 343 art style? Like, what is your honest opinion when 343 came into the scene with Halo 4 and they switched up the art style to a different direction? What is y'all's thoughts on that?
Well, I feel like every time a game comes along, the technology has moved forward in such a remarkable way that is exciting to me to see what has shifted. So I'm always excited to see the next thing. And to me, when I remember at the time, and now it's probably silly, but at the time when 4 came out, I just felt like, oh my God, they look like real people. You know, now we would laugh at that, right? Of course, as we get little chuckles. But I mean, each time it feels more and more clear and beautiful. So I'm a fan. I don't.
I'm just waiting for the next one to come out, and it's all holograms. And, you know, the Chief is like right there, and Cortana is, you know, walking through you.
In
and-
your living room.
Yes, in your living
Truly.
room. It can't
We
be
can
too
only
far
hope.
away. Yeah.
Which one did you guys like the least?
For me, the least fun, because they're all fun and amazing to do, and I am grateful for every single one of them. But the least fun for me to do was Halo 5, just because I didn't have as much to do in it. So it was a little less fun. How's that?
I would go along with that. It was a...
Because I didn't have as much to do, you had a problem with it?
Yeah.
See, I told you guys I would make fun
Wasn't
of him, right?
really.
We tease each other.
No, but I felt for... you can say- Really? It was, you know, there were certain things about it that were a lot of fun to do, but there were certain parts of it that and again, even the Chief played a not as prominent a role.
Yeah, I mostly got to be Dr. Halsey, and I do love playing Dr. Halsey, so
Yeah.
that is fun.
Yeah.
But
Steve, through all the experiences you had as the Chief, that you felt most like him as your character. He was you were him.
You know, Master Chief is a larger-than-life superhero. So it almost sounds I don't know. Thank you. That word.
aggrandizing.
Thank you. To elevate myself personally to a superhero, but I felt most identified to him in his way or lack thereof of expressing emotion. And to me, one of the conflicts that makes him an interesting character is this, you know, this struggle with expressing emotion and the conflict of duty, especially when duty is not something that he may agree with. I think the television show explores that concept further than perhaps the game does. But the game certainly in 4 and 3 and in Infinite, there is that struggle of how he balances. He's a military man. Duty is his first call and all that, and yet, first of all, the way it all happened was wrong. Guy's kidnapped as a child and just, taken away and all that. So his not that I was kidnapped as a child, or was I?
What?
Wait a minute. But so when we're doing those kinds of scenes, I can identify with that. That sort of struggle. So that answers your question.
You're so good. I would say something silly like, I feel most like Chief when he's jumping off a condor onto another spaceship. Like, whatever.
Well, did you ever have a moment you felt like Cortana?
I feel... Whenever Cortana's snarky, that is really... the sarcasm. I think I lean a little heavy into that, and so the writers are like, oh, she likes this. Let's do more. So that's what I really love. Yeah.
Have either of you actually played the games? And secondly, if so, is it weird to play as yourselves?
I'm really terrible. I'm really terrible. It's like I almost can't hold the controller. I'm so bad. So, and I've said this before. So you may have heard this. My husband will play, and I will watch him. And he normally just gets his ass handed to him by 10-year-olds, but sometimes we'll go online and I'll put on his headset and I will play and I'll smack talk. I'm so bad at it, but and then afterwards he will tell everybody that Cortana played with them, and they're like, "No way, man!" That was my joke. That was it. That's all I got. So no, I'm terrible. I'm really terrible. I have tried, and I will continue to try. Kiki Wolfkill has promised that she will teach me how to play this game. Yeah. So I'm still trying. I have hope, but yeah, I'm terrible.
I have no hope whatsoever. When Halo 2 came out, I thought, Steve, you really need to, or have a game, not even up my game, just have one, and because I really wasn't into video games. I left off at Pong, which none of you are old enough to even remember. But anyway, okay,
I am.
Okay. So I got an Xbox and put in Halo 2, and I could not get the Chief out of the room he was in. And
With Halo, it was the same thing. Like, you're in the cryogenic chamber, and I was like, get out! I can't get out! I'm trapped!
And I remember thinking, what a stupid game. There's no exit sign. There's some point where you get some arrow going like this. You know what I mean?
What a stupid game!
I thought, how could anybody learn how to play this?
You heard it from Steve Downs.
But it got to the point where I thought, I cannot be a bad Halo player. It's better to be a non-Halo player than a bad one. I said, I either have to be average or not play at all. And this all came home to roost when very early on, I think it was when Halo 2 came out, and there was a GameStop opening somewhere in Fort Lauderdale, and I was invited. A guy called me up and said, would you come down for the grand opening? And I had never made any appearances on behalf of Halo or Master Chief ever. So anyway, I was living in Chicago, and this event was happening in November in Florida, and I was like, yeah. So I came down, and I said, I have two conditions. One is I don't dress up as the character, and the other is that I don't play the game. So, and the guy's, fine, that's cool. So we go down there, and of course he ignored, the second one, and unbeknownst to me was having a contest, the winner of which would play me at Halo. So when I found this out, I was like, dude, what'd they tell you? I said, I don't play the game. I'm horrible at it. I don't know what I'm doing. And he said, no worries. We're going to give you a dummy controller. I thought, well, that's appropriate, because a dummy will certainly be holding it. And he said, we will have a pro player behind the screen, who will actually be controlling your part of it, and they'll play the winner. So the winner was an 11-year-old girl, and we start playing. The contest lasted 15 seconds. Now, this is with a pro player on the other side of the screen, and Dummy
An 11-year-old girl beat the pro player.
and of course, walked right through me. And you have never been more humiliated in your life than have an 11-year-old go, Master Chief, right? Now, I found out years later, she actually went on to become a pro player.
Yeah, she
and,
did.
and made money, and I wish I knew her name, but that was my experience at the game side of this. You guys have much more capability than I could ever hope to have as a player.
So, Steve, which type of Master Chief, which is your favorite?
You mean in terms of armor?
In terms of armor or look or...
Look, yeah.
Look, I like Infinite. I think Infinite is a great combination of the old and the new. I mean, to me, the whole game is, but I think the look of Master Chief combines the best elements of Bungie and the best elements of 343.
I feel like Halo 2's cliffhanger is one of the most iconic of all time. How did you feel about the cliffhanger at the time, and how do you feel about cliffhangers in general?
What cracks me up is that most people were pissed off about the way Halo 2 ended. Now it's like one of the most popular Halo games of all.
Right.
So, wait a while and things get better.
What do you think is the line that made you feel most badass?
I need a weapon.
Raleigh GalaxyCon 2022. This was the cast of Halo, and that was our time.
Thank you.